What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Lil Trady back with another video. And this season, I'm finna be talking about the one and only Kemba Walker. Before I get started with this video, make sure y'all subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media. My links are down below in this description box. Hit that comment section down below. I'll be attracting a lot of people. And let's get started with this video. Kemba Walker was supposed to be coming out as the better player, but it's not the case, as this season he was averaging 15 points and also 4 assists and 4 rebounds, but he's doing it on some of the worst shooting splits of his entire career, at 36% from the field and 30% from 3 on 7 attempts in game, I might add, as Kemba Walker has been looking really trash this season. And sure, he came off of a knee injury, but injuries are really not much of an excuse to only drop 4 points and only make 1 field goal. That's right, against the Lakers, he was awful, as this man only had 4 points on 1 of 16 shooting from the field, and also missed that game winner, which he should have made, but that's all behind him. Let's think about the future right now, as Kemba Walker last season, he was very shaky in the playoffs, obviously, especially against the Raptors and the Miami Heat. But Kemba Walker was supposed to come this season as one of the best players in the league after a shaky playoff performance, as last year he underperformed in the series against the Heat and the Raptors. As last season, Kemba Walker in the regular season averaged 19 points on 42% shooting from the field and 36% from 3 on nearly 8 attempts a game. But when we get to the playoffs, Kemba Walker did not play his best whatsoever, as he only averaged 18 points on 42% shooting from the field and 31% from 3, and got outplayed by both Kyle Lowry and Goran Dragic, as it was a really shaky postseason for Kemba Walker, as he underperformed, especially in the second and conference finals. But as this season, Kemba Walker was supposed to be having a bounce back year, but that's not the case. And sure, he's coming off of an injury from his knee, but dropping 4 points on 1 shot is completely unacceptable. And you're supposed to be the second. I don't even think he's the second best player on the team, because that belonged to Jaylen Brown. Now he's the second best player on the team. And we already know that Jason Tatum was the best player on the team, as last season Kemba Walker was the second best player on the team behind JT. But actually, Jaylen Brown's took in that throne as the second best player, as Jaylen Brown's averaging 26 points and is on verge of making the All-Star game alongside Jason Tatum. And Kemba Walker is the one who's taking the back seat as the third option, which he should have been last season, as sometimes he was the third option last season while Jaylen Brown took off. But this season, Jaylen Brown is permanently the second option. Yeah, I think Kemba Walker should take a step back, as even Jaylen Brown performed way better than Kemba last year in the playoffs. Kemba, he was just awful last season in the postseason. I'm not saying he was complete trash like Paul George type, but he still underperformed and then show up in those fourth quarters especially. But Kemba Walker, we expected him to come out better this season, but that wasn't the case, as he should. If y'all didn't see Young Mustard's video about players that had a lot to prove, make sure y'all go check that out. And Kemba was on that list, and I kind of agree with that. Kemba Walker had a lot to prove this season, as in the postseason he was shaky and didn't perform up to his expectations, while Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they did solid until the conference finals, because they both did shoot inefficiently, but they still both performed well. But Kemba Walker was the one who couldn't pick up the ball, as he only averaged 18 points. And I'm also considering, should they trade Kemba Walker, because they could potentially do it, because you know how sneaky Boston is with those trades. They don't play around with those trades, because we all seen that with Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. People thought they were about to be Celtics for the rest of their lives, especially Paul Pierce. He thought he was about to be a Celtic for the rest of his life, but that wasn't the case, as he got traded to the Brooklyn Nets, which was one of the worst trades in NBA history. We all know how that turned out for both sides. It turned out great, but Kemba Walker, they literally gave up Terry Rozier for you. And to me, Terry Rozier is playing way better than you. He even dropped 47 points on opening night while you were hurt, I might add. And Terry Rozier, he's kind of looking better than you, like for real. Because people thought that was a terrible trade. And the Boston and Danny Ainge gave you that big ass contract. And people really didn't think you weren't worth the max contract. And I kind of agree with them. You're kind of not. And as great as Kemba Walker is, he's not worth a max contract. They gave him a 4-year, $141 million deal. That is not worth for Kemba Walker. Like, he's not worth that type of money. Like, for real. He's a great player, but he's not that great of a player. Because we all see that at Charlotte. Sure, he didn't have no help. And he was nearly averaging 27 points a game. But if his team was losing, he's a part of that. So, to me, he's not really worth that much of a deal. And to me, I really don't think he might not be a top 10 point guard if he don't get his stuff together. Because he's still a top 10 point guard in my opinion. But if you don't get his shit together, players like Jamal Murray, Trae Young, those guys, well, I don't even think Trae Young's better than Kemba in my opinion. But Jamal Murray, he's close to passing you up. For real. Because Jamal Murray played way better than you last season, especially in the playoffs. Because we all know about Bubble Jamal. He took over and Kemba Walker went ice cold. But yeah, I don't think Kemba Walker's worth that type of money. And I don't think, obviously, Kemba Walker's not a superstar. He's not even the third best player on his team. And a lot of people say that Kemba Walker is overpaid. And that trade to the Celtics, that kind of didn't make no sense to me. Like, for real. Even teams like they have to go against, the Bucks, the 76ers, like those teams can potentially knock him out of the playoffs if Kemba Walker doesn't play up to his expectations. And those teams are favored. And then you also got the Brooklyn Nets big three, KD, Kyrie, and Harden. Because you already know how scary they're going to be. Sure, they're garbage on defense, but their offensive game is real lit. So the Boston Celtics doesn't have an easy opportunity to make it to the finals, because they gotta go up against those teams. Because you know how tough the Eastern Conference is gonna get, because they just added Harden and Kevin Durant. So you already know how tough the East is gonna be. So Kemba Walker needs to start playing up to his expectations and don't underperform. Because if you go up against teams like the Nets, Sixers, or the Bucks, and the Boston Celtics don't got a reliable center, as their center is Tristan Thompson. And sure, Tristan Thompson is an elite rebounder, but he's not that great of a defender. So, yeah, Kemba, get your shit together, bro. Because if you don't, I really think the Boston Celtics might pull that plug from you and to get rid of that bad-ass contract and take it somewhere else. And where do I think Kemba might go? I don't know. I think probably Miami might have a chance to send over Tyler Hero and a couple of guys. But that includes this video. Make sure y'all subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell for notifications. I'll read all y'all comments. Y'all stay safe and stay healthy, y'all. This your boy Lil Trady signing out. And God, wash your hands. Peace.